So when officers responded to that location, the first officer that arrived at location pulled up to check the alarm, got out of their vehicle. As they were approaching the scene on foot, they observed the male matching that description outside the passenger side of the truck in the rear of the building at 70 Meriden Ave. At that time, he had the matching clothing, and he had what appeared to be a long rifle in his hand, standing outside the passenger door. The officer was able to signal the second arriving officer, who was a supervisor arriving on scene, to assist her. They went to establish a perimeter. At the time they were establishing a perimeter on the building, they heard shots fired. So they were able to pull back to their vehicles, and at that same time the suspect exited around the building driving the black Chevy pickup truck. Our officers attempted to stop him. He didn't stop. He entered Meriden Ave, drove onto Main Street down Old Turnpike traveling south, and our officers proceeded to follow him. They engaged him into a pursuit. That pursuit continued on to 691, where we received assistance from the state police, Meriden Police. It continued on to 66, where we received assistance from Middletown Police. Middletown was able, on 66, in the area of approximately Staples, Home Depot over there, to use stop sticks to puncture two of the tires on the truck, slowing them down. We continued to pursue him up onto the Aragoni Bridge, where he lost control of the vehicle. He crashed, and at that time during the crash, one of our cruisers was also involved in the crash and was damaged as well. But he was taken into custody there with the assistance of the other towns. When the vehicle was stopped and he was taken into custody, at the same time they observed a long rifle, the .22 long rifle, on the passenger seat of the truck. So at that time he was detained there, taken into custody, he was placed under arrest. He was taken to a local area hospital to be evaluated where he's still being held at this time. He was not injured as a result of the crash, so his evaluation is not a medical evaluation at this time. We have officers at the hospital with him at this time, pending his being released once he's seen.
Does he have any kind of connection to these?
So yes, I'll explain that. So since that time last night, when I sent out the original information, we've since received information of two different locations. Our officers and the detectives and officers are on scene right now at 156 School Street, was an addition we added since last night. At about 6:30 last night, the time is approximate because they wasn't 100% sure, they heard the sound of loud noises. The homeowner went to investigate. They thought it could have been broken branches or something like that. Didn't think much about it. Since the incident has happened, he went back and looked at it further and discovered there was shots fired into his home. That person does have a connection to the shooter. And since then, we've discovered that each one of the locations is affiliated. So of all the locations, there is some connection to the suspect. However, I guess the positive side to that is that this isn't random. He singled out people that he knew for some connection. The connection is not the same in all locations. I did inquire on that. Some are just connections. He's been in town for a long time, so the connection is not 100% in regards to why he did it.
The connection of the medical office and the church, can you?
I will explain. So the connection between North Star Drive and 70 Meriden Ave, that's the same person. That's why we made the arrest on that, because we had enough probable cause to show that that was connected, and we were able, and because we had officers on scene that witnessed or overheard the shooting. So that's, at this point, that arrest has been made, and that's what he'll be charged with. The other ones are pending forensic investigation, of course, of the shell casings, bullets, and so on and so forth, that we're recovering now at these different scenes.
The North Star Drive person works at 70, is that kind of correct, or has some kind of connection?
Yeah, the North Star Drive is the doctor that is at the Meriden Ave office, that is correct. So for that reason, again, there's a connection there, so we're able to make the arrest on that one. As of right now, we have a fire is going to be assisting. It was a second-story building at 156 where the shots went into the house. It is a residence. They're reporting 12 to 15 shots were fired into that house. The house was occupied, but nobody was injured. We have officers on scene right now at 216 Flanders Road. The homeowner there is reporting somewhere between 6:30 and 7, so approximately the same time he heard a loud noise. He went outside to investigate what was going on. He saw in the road, he saw the black pickup truck parked out there occupied by one male, so he assumed that also was the suspect. He didn't identify him at that time. He thought it could have been a delivery. He went outside this morning to look, and he discovered the same thing, approximately 16 shots into the garage door of his house. Again, that house is occupied, nobody was injured. Those shots were into the garage door. So he's since put together the connection through some affiliates of his, and he also does know the suspect. Again, his connection, it is not the same connection in each case, but he does know who the suspect was. So as of this time, as I said, arrest has already been made, and pending the forensic investigation, we'll likely have more arrests in the near future.
Can you help us sort of thread the needle a little bit? And maybe you have to be cryptic because you can't give too much detail, but it's a little hard to understand in terms of these connections and this person. Is this man someone who has a criminal history? Is this a person who worked with these people or a patient of these people? I mean, what can you tell us to help us understand this better?
Yeah, like I said, it's an assorted different reasons, and I just briefly spoke to one. I could tell you that obviously one's a church, so there was a church connection there, but it doesn't appear that they're all of them. I understand that he has some history of collecting cars or some car connection with one of them, so it doesn't appear to be anything specific. I believe we'll also have conversation with Cromwell, who's conducting a similar investigation, and they have some similar connection there too, but nothing specific. That location was a church, so I believe there's some connection between the two churches there. But exactly at this point, like I said, when we provide an update, that's one of the things we'll try to answer going forward. So
From Southington's take, I mean, lots of shots fired. Thankfully, no one in. I mean, what's your take on a Sunday broad daylight? People are out. I mean, yeah, it was a rainy day, but this could have been a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, what we do know now is that all the shots were fired into areas where there could have been somebody in there, with the exception of the garage door and the unoccupied church, of course. In the homes, the residents were all occupied at this point. Fortunately, nobody was injured. So yeah, of course, obviously somebody. And at this point, these are the locations we know. Now people are putting it together and are going out looking in their homes to see if anybody else received anything. But so right now, we're investigating 6. We know that, Bristol obviously has something going on, and we know Cromwell for sure has something going on as well. But we'll wait and see if there's anything more, and hopefully there's not.
He's alone in this, is what you guys are seeing.
Yes, we took him in. We got into pursuit with him. We have an officer that witnessed him on scene at Meriden Ave. We took him into custody. He was by himself. So as far as we know, he lives alone. There's no other connection that we could tell to anybody else.
Is this possibly a hate crime with all the churches involved?
That's a good question. Obviously, I think the same thing when you bring the church connection in there. But we do know that some of the connections to some of the people appear to be unrelated to the church. So it just appears to be people that he has a grievance with. For what reason, we don't know.
Where's he from? Has he been?
He's from town. I put his address. He lives in Plantsville, and I did it at Grove Street in Plantsville.
Has he ever been arrested?
I don't know if he has a criminal history. I don't know of a criminal history. I've been here a long time, and I don't know of him personally, and I don't know that we've had contact with him. So,
do you know what he did? Was he employed at any of these locations?
I would be guessing if I said that. I think I do, but I don't know that he was employed in this location. I think there might be a car thing in there somewhere. So.
What? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I'll try to get that information for you next time.
Does he have a family?
I don't know that. I know that he lived alone where he was living. His address.
And just if at this point, if anyone has maybe there was something suspicious at their house, give you a ring.
Sure, absolutely.
Saw anything.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the only photo we have him now is his driver's license photo because he hasn't been processed yet. Once we do have his photo, I mean, like I said, all the connections appear to be people he had agreements with, that he's associates with. So if you do know him, by all means, and you saw something or heard something suspicious, I know a lot of the stuff, a 22 is a relatively small in terms of a rifle. And some of these people, like they said, they heard a noise, didn't really know what it was. So by all means, if you know him, you see something, give us a call.
Any surveillance footage that you guys?
We're obviously looking into that right now. That's part of the investigation. It's still early on. The state police, a major crime, assisted us in 2 of the locations. The one on at 2355, I believe I said, 2344 Meriden Waterbury. They assisted with processing that one, and they assisted us with processing the 70 Meriden Ave. So right now, we processed the other 2 locations, and we're currently processing 2 more locations right now. So
did you look in his house, search warrant? You find
they secured his house. I don't know if we've gone in there at this point, but that's something we'll be able to report on later.
So you had mentioned there was a photo of him they were working with. Did someone take a picture of him while he was doing the?
But to be honest with you, I saw the photo myself last night when I was on scene on the Aragoni Bridge. So. I think it was a Ring camera photo. I believe it was a video snapshot. I'm pretty sure it was. And it was, Ring cameras are great. It was a perfect video. There's no question about it as far as the video that it was him.
Did he put up any fight when he was ultimately arrested?
I arrived there shortly after. I went there because of the pursuit. I was coming in because of the incident. I don't believe there was any struggle whatsoever with him on the bridge. No.
Was there any other weapons found?
Yes. So along with a long rifle inside the vehicle, there was a pistol that was taken from the vehicle as we were unsure for safety reasons. It was unsecured in the rear of the vehicle. We weren't sure if it was loaded or, if it was safe. So that was taken from the vehicle. At this time, the vehicle is with us. It's going to be processed with a search warrant, and we'll just check to see if there's any more weapons that are in the vehicle. So.
For Southington residents or folks watching that, you think targeted stuff at this point?
Absolutely. Everything so far of the 6 places we've confirmed are people that he had either agreements with, or at least he had some association with. Whether it was a grievance or not, obviously, or whether it was an association. Whether they know he had an agreements with him, yeah, that we. Right.
Would you be able to send us the mugshot? Or?
I will send you a mugshot when he's processed. Like I said, at this point, they're waiting for him to be evaluated. We have officers with him at this time, so once he's released and brought back to us, he'll be processed, and we will get a mugshot out.
Is it mental health evaluation?
Yes.
And you expect that to be today, that to happen?
We don't control the hospitals. It's a holiday, so yes. He's been there since last night from the bridge. He was transported there, so I spoke to the officer that was up there, and right now we're just waiting for an evaluation. Yep.
And just to clarify, was this the medical office building when we're talking about that, or was that the private practice doctor's office?
I can't tell. I can tell you the address was 70 Meriden Ave, and I do want to clarify that. So I put it out as being, because it comes up as being the Hartford Healthcare Group's building. It's the blue building. This at 70 Meriden Ave. Whether it was he's in private practice or affiliated with him, there may be no connection whatsoever with Hartford.
But the building, the physical building that we're talking about.
It is the building at 70 Meriden Ave, and it was around the back of the building is where the shots were fired. So all his shots were focused specific on a specific area. So, yeah.
Confusing.
It is. Is there
Good.
anything we didn't ask you that you want to state?
No, I think I covered it. Like I said, that's the biggest thing is if we got his information out, we'll get a mugshot out on him. I guess just for the comfort of anybody who's in town, just to understand that he wasn't just randomly picking people. He chose people, like I said, either whether they were just associates, but obviously he must have had some type of grievance with him. So if you don't know him, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about. And if nothing's happened so far, he's in our custody, so we're good. Good?
Thank you.
Okay.
And then when you get the turnpike 2344, whatever that address is, you see like the 16, right? Right.
Yes.
It's like right in the front, kind of as you're driving by.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are those shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So you said 156 School Street and 216 Flanders Road. Those are the two.
Sounds right. Yeah, 156 School Street. We're still there now because it's a upstairs. The second floor is where the shots went in. It was actually the person's bedroom.
Oh.
So we have the fire coming out there so we can get some photographs. So they're still there. Once they leave there, they're going over to 216 Flanders Road. Yep, and that's the same thing. Both received about anywhere from 12 to 15, 16 shots. So.
It really is extraordinary when you think about it, with all those shots fired, that nobody was hit or hurt or killed. That's sort of almost unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great. That's probably the best news that we can report, that all those shots were fired and that nobody was injured. And all the homes are occupied. Nobody's injured too, so that is good. Yes.
All shot with the 22, not the.
As far as we know, everything was done with the 22. Of the one that we witnessed, our officer witnessed, they specifically saw that it was the long rifle, yes.
Are you putting out the DMV photo?
Not at this point, no. No, we'll put out his mugshot once we get it, so.